Welcome to FoodPoint episode 101, part B. For this part of the recipe you will need 250 ml of water, 3/4 of a cup of 00 grade flour, 100 grams of unsalted butter, and 4 cold eggs. To start, place the water and the butter into a medium-sized pan over a medium-high heat, and bring to the boil, stirring occasionally. Once it has begun to simmer, turn the heat down and add the flour, and mix constantly until combined. After a minute or so, the dough should form into a ball and not stick to the sides of the pot. At this point, you should remove it from the heat and transfer it into a bowl. Crack the eggs into a jug and use a whisk to break up the yolks. Add the eggs to the dough a bit at a time and stir until combined. As you should be able to see, as soon as you begin mixing the eggs in, the dough will split. Don't worry, this is normal. As long as you continue to mix, the dough will eventually come back together. Once the dough has recombined, it's time to add the next lot of eggs and mix in the same way. Once all of the eggs are added, you should end up with something that looks like this. Transfer the mixture into a piping bag. I usually use disposable piping bags so that I can cut the size of the nozzle that I want. Line a baking tray with a sheet of baking paper and pipe on small balls of the pastry, leaving enough room in between, as the profiteroles tend to puff quite a lot when baking. A good tip is to wet the end of your finger and press down the points. This should help the profiteroles to look more uniform. To use this pastry to make eclairs, instead of piping balls, just pipe lines. Place the baking trays into an oven that's been preheated to either 200 degrees Celsius or 390 degrees Fahrenheit. Allow to bake for 25 to 35 minutes, then switch the oven off and prop the door open, leaving them inside. 15 to 20 minutes later, remove from the oven and allow to cool. Once cool, using a chopstick, pierce the top of each profiterole to allow for filling. For the eclairs, it's easier to pierce them lengthways. You don't have to fill these with creme pâtissière. Using some sweetened whipped cream or chocolate mousse would work just as well. If you have not already watched part A of this recipe, please click the box to the left. Otherwise, please click the box on the right to proceed to part C.